Hey guys, I'm Leila. Today we're in Raid Shadow Legends. We're going to be reading a lore story for... I've been told you pronounce his name Fjorad Wolfheart. I was going to say Fjorad, but, you know, drop me a comment down below on how this is pronounced. I'm assuming it's Fjorad Wolfheart, who happens to be the new dwarf mythic champ that was added. I love his design. I think that this wolf helmet that he's got here looks so cool. Absolutely love that. And then he's got this really cool like totem, I would think, right? That he's carrying on his back, a totem. Okay, so now we're gonna take a look at his Super Saiyan form. Ooh, and he goes ice-like, kind of like Tormund, right? Okay. I love how his axe looks. It still has like this wolf. And even the totem change, look at that. We have like this like mist and this ice off of it. It looks really good. Really, really like this. And then he's got like this Wolverine thing going on, right? He's got like the Wolverine hair. Really interesting. Love it. I really hope that they tie all of this in with his story. I haven't read it. We're going to read it together right now. Nothing inspired or excited a young Fjorad more than tales of Tormund the Cold. This legendary dwarf overcame terrible failures at the forge, climbed the highest peaks of the mountains of despair, and traveled to the Winterlands in Teleria's farthest north. With both being from Gloomdeep Hold, Fjorad identified himself even more Tormund, and wished to be great just like him. And so, from a young age, Fjorad saw excellence wherever he could. From youth to early adulthood, he became as skilled a sailor as he was a warrior, and no less competent in rune-keeping, rhyme magic, and animal speaking. He was a polymath, knowledgeable far beyond his years, with a work ethic that outpaced not just those of his peers, but many of his tutors. He had achieved much, but Fjorad wanted more than what Gloomdeep could offer. Tormund became Tormund the Cold only after traveling to the Winterlands. And so Fjorad left home in search of novelty and adventure and opportunity to put his skills into practice in a way he never could if he stayed. Who knew who he might meet, what he might learn and experience? Fjorad first spent weeks in Port Wretched, Gloomdeep's fabled docklands. It astounded him. He'd never come before. Surely some of his studies could have come later. Pirates, traders, sorcerers, mages, and warriors of every stripe could be found there in their thousands, whether they be Ogryn, lizardmen, skinwalkers, humans, or elves. Fjorad bought rounds for everyone. Dark elf raiders fresh from plundering northern Yukai, sylvan apothecaries treating the sick and wounded with medicinal plants brought from their enchanted jungle realm, gold-toothed Velazari slavers and gladiator trainers, and even hooded skeletal fin humans who promised him immortality if only he had trusted his soul to them. All drank with Fjorad. He reveled in the tavern brawls, the gossip, the rapid exchange of wares from all over Teleria, but he never forgot about the Winterlands. He eventually bought passage aboard a Nor vessel, whose crew were making their way to Port Wraith, the northern continent's largest settlement. For several years, Fjorad lived in the Winterlands, hoping for the revelation he had expected to come to him after reaching his destination, the place where everything changed for Tormund. But the revelation never came. He grew listless and frustrated, and having heard countless tales from the raiders of the sights and sounds of the world, decided to join them. In the same manner, he excelled at so many other things. Fjorad was a superlative pirate. He outwitted Arabian merchantmen and toyed with the Shadowkin privateers. He lured target ships onto rocks or broke their oars in daring maneuvers. He became known as the Direwolf of Port Wraith for his lupine cunning, and he named his ship, the fastest in Port Wraith, the Wolfheart, to solidify his reputation, using Nor dialect in honor of his adopted home. The vessel was bedecked with dwarven robes of protection, luck, and speed, and wolf totems and iconography adorned its flanks and bow. Life was good. Fjorad had a superb crew. He was seeing the world and doing exactly what he wanted. The thought that this was not the epiphany he had always sought out nagged at his mind, but this was the most satisfied he had ever been. Everything changed when, toward the end of the Galen War, a flotilla of Galen ships succeeded in surrounding the Wolfheart. Fjorad and his crew put up a desperate fight, causing many more losses than they suffered, but were overwhelmed. His ship was finally destroyed when it was rammed by a Galen war galley, and his entire crew was captured or killed. Fjorad himself was left in the harsh, freezing sea, holding on to Wolfheart's wolf totem cast him to keep himself afloat. Fjorad was in the sea for days, skin turning blue with cold, teeth worn down with chattering. He uttered incantation after incantation to maintain basic warmth, lure fish, or deter flow sharks. Later, he washed up on some unnamed Winterland shore, unconscious, the elements finally having defeated him. Images flashed in his mind. Torment, frost wolves, ships, waves, Torment, gloom deep, wretched ice, Torment. Torment. That was who Fjord saw when he finally opened his eyes in a place miles from the sea, starving and in terrible pain. The dwarf stood, looked down upon him, radiating cold power and timeless authority. Next to him sat an enormous frost wolf, its thick, blue-gray pelt shaggy and gleaming. In one hand, Tormund bore his famous rhyme hammer, an enormous weapon thrumming with awesome potential. In another was a two-handed axe with blades of razor-sharp ice. He handed it to Fjorad, grip first. Fjorad knew Tormund had forged it himself. The moment Fjorad grasped the axe's handle, Tormund and the wolf vanished. In the same instant, all Fjorad's agony and hunger disappeared. He felt more alive than ever, new strength in his body and mind. He rose to his feet, staring at his hands. They were blue, not with cold, but with magic, and thick lupine fur extended from them to his elbows. Some act of torment? Or one of his own spells he cast to save his life in the freezing waters? He could not tell. Now he did not feel the cold at all. It felt to him as if he had become one with it. Perhaps made to become one with it. Fjorad then had his epiphany. Tormund had not become who he was because of the Winterlands, but because of the choices he made to overcome his challenges. He found purpose in that, and it made him something more than a dwarf. Fjorad had believed his purpose had always been to have something happen to him, and in a sense, that had now happened with the Wolfheart's destruction and Tormund's appearance. But he had never considered what he would do after. The stories never told of what Tormund did after his transformation. One desire burned in his heart: revenge. For his destroyed vessel and slaughtered crew, the Gallons would pay. Okay, I actually think that's a pretty good story, you guys. All right, so they talk about how he's dying, and he sees Tormund, and he sees this massive, like, frost wolf. So I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think Tormund and a frost wolf really appeared to him, or do you think it was in his mind, and that he ended up somehow being infused with this power from, like, the magic and incantations that he was saying? I would love to know what you guys think for the lore story. I thought this was pretty good. Very, very fitting for a mythical champ. And I called it. That was funny. Like I said, I hadn't read the story at all, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, he looks just like Tormund. And you know what? They stuck to it. So I love that. Drop some comments down below what you think for the lore story for Fjorad of the Wolfheart. And thanks for watching.